people who live in an area with high air pollution could find a decade is taken from their memory. The latest study, which is the largest of its kind, suggests there's a significant difference between the quality of memory of those who breathe in the dirtiest and the cleanest air. The research was carried out by Warwick University, and joining us now from there is Andrew Oswald, a professor of economics and behavioural science. Andrew Oswald, we knew, of course, that air pollution is bad for our health, is bad for our lungs. There's links with children and asthma and in premature deaths. But what made you think, could there be a link to memory?
We were trying to understand the patterns in memory schools all across England. We sampled randomly about 34,000 people and gave all of them exactly the same word recall test. Then we adjusted for their age. Of course, we remember fewer words as we get older, their education, many things about them. And there we discovered a strong pattern in the geography, you might say, of people's ability to remember as linked to the geographical pattern of air quality. Now, something like that is already known, of course, on a much smaller scale for animal laboratory studies. It's known that rats, for example, in polluted air, don't have memories that are as efficient, but clearly for humans, it's especially important for us to know the results of our kind of study, looking at across large samples of men and women in this country.
How are you able to, though, rule out other factors? I mean, you know, living in a city, bad air pollution, it's also very noisy. You know, you may be more easily distracted. Could there not be other factors that are affecting this?
Yes, of course. A lot of my job is about trying to adjust for all the possible influences, and we have statistical ways to try to do that. One thing we drew upon, for example, to try to get clear causality was we used the direction of the wind, which of course comes from the west in our country, and we used the proximity to the coastline on the west side as a kind of outside influence that we knew was not going to affect, for example, noise in a city and noise in the countryside or the greenness of the countryside. And in that kind of way, I can be pretty sure we can pin down a causal influence. Again, I'd go back to the animal studies, the fact that our human data marry up with the patterns for animal lab results. It does seem something important to bear in mind. It's dangerous, I'm afraid, for your memory to live in London. The air pollution levels there are about 10 times the west coast. So live in West Somerset if you can, rather than central London.
So it doesn't just have to be West Somerset, though, presumably. It could be pretty much any part of the country down the western side in preference that's quite rural.
Yes, of course, air quality varies a lot, even depending on how far you are from the coast, because vehicles are a big source of the nitrogen dioxide and the air particulates that we're measuring. So if you're close to a motorway, say, even if you're in an otherwise good area, you will, I fear, have a higher level of air pollution.
OK.
But the bottom line of our study is to find this strong link.
OK, Andrew Oswald from Warwick University. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much. You've heard